say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith sit down to discuss the matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts that Crawford could win by decision, but warns that it won't be easy. He recalls Gervonta Davis's, warning that if Crawford tries to trade too much with Canelo, he might get himself in trouble. With Canelo's natural size and punching power, Stephen A. believes Crawford must rely on defense, speed, and ring IQ instead of getting into heavy exchanges. Both analysts agree that strategy, not strength, will decide the fight.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Kellerman adds that Terence Crawford's overall skills appear sharper, giving him a technical advantage. At the same time, he points out that Canelo Alvarez has a strong chin and a naturally bigger frame, which helps him in close exchanges. However, Kellerman also notes that Canelo hasn't looked quite as dominant in his recent fights compared to his prime, showing a slight decline. That contrast, Crawford's sharpness against Canelo's size and durability, makes this fight a test of timing versus toughness.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who? I would assume Canelo has the
You have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight.
Antonio Tarver, the former champion and now respected analyst, is openly backing Terence Crawford. At the same time, he admits this will be Crawford's toughest challenge yet. Tarver reminds fans that Crawford has already proven himself across multiple weight classes, but says this fight is on a completely different level. He calls it not only Crawford's biggest test, but also a type of challenge Canelo Alvarez has never truly faced before.
Crawford's take, I'm Bud counting all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing IQ, believes the first round will be cautious. He expects both fighters to avoid big risks early, instead using the round to study movement, timing, and openings. Bradley explains that Crawford is especially patient at the start of big fights because he likes to observe before setting traps. Canelo, on the other hand, also tends to take the opening round to feel out distance and make adjustments. Bradley predicts the opening round won't be fireworks, but more of a careful chess match.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. You know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, a couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Khan, who has fought both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, brings a unique view. He believes Crawford has already proven himself as an all-time great, especially at welterweight. Khan reminds fans that boxing has weight classes for a reason. Moving up against bigger fighters carries real risks. He says Crawford didn't need to take on this challenge because his legacy is already secure. Still, Khan respects the ambition behind the decision, calling it a bold move to silence critics and achieve what very few fighters in history have done: defy weight limits. But Khan is clear, stepping in with a naturally stronger fighter like Canelo is a dangerous gamble. It could either elevate Crawford's status forever or seriously damage his career.
And we did all the build-up, they were nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well, that he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously he's way
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Loeffler views the fight from a business and spectacle angle. He says Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing, each with massive fan bases across different countries. Loeffler believes very few fights in the modern era match this one in terms of size and importance. He calls it more than just a boxing match. It's a clash of two empires. Canelo, the long-standing face of boxing, versus Crawford, the pound-for-pound king on the rise. According to Loeffler, This is the kind of rare fight that truly deserves all the hype.
Show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to the sport is just so sincere. He's so real, you know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter.
Trainer Dave Coldwell highlights what makes Crawford special: his ability to switch stances, his sharp footwork, and his control of distance. Coldwell points out that Crawford's movement is one of his most underrated tools. It allows him to create angles, frustrate opponents, and control the rhythm of fights. Against a pressure fighter like Canelo, Coldwell believes these skills could be the difference. If Crawford can stay mobile and avoid being pushed to the ropes, he has what it takes to outmaneuver Canelo and win rounds on points.
When the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think he's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic, his punch picking is fantastic, he's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. He loads up, and he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. And Crawford gets hit. He does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that.
Jeff Mayweather focuses on weight and natural size, which he says could be the most important factor. He explains that Canelo has been dominant at super middleweight, a division that perfectly suits his frame. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, is moving up to a weight that isn't natural for him. This raises concerns about whether the extra pounds will slow him down, hurt his stamina, or affect his ability to take punches. Mayweather believes Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in advantage since he doesn't need to make major adjustments to his body.
I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. So, and he even went up higher. So, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. This guy seems like he's amazing. I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. Sure. So I don't know who's going to lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Ring Magazine analyst weighs in on Canelo's recent performances. They note that although Canelo still trains hard and prepares with focus, A weakness has started to show. He struggles to cut off the ring as effectively as he once did. This has allowed opponents to move around and avoid his power punches. Against Crawford, whose game relies on movement and angles, this could be a major problem. The analyst says Canelo must regain his ability to trap fighters, or else Crawford could use that flaw to his advantage.
Have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight.
Former champion David Haye admits he's had a change of heart. At first, he thought Canelo's size and power would overwhelm Crawford, making it nearly impossible for the smaller man to win. But after watching Crawford train and seeing his sharpness and dedication, Haye says he now believes Crawford has a real chance. What once seemed unlikely to him now looks very possible.
And that's beating Canelo. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford. I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good big gun beats a good little one, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's like it's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight. You know, that anyone who's interested in boxing want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. That makes sense, because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, another former champion, issues a warning to Canelo Alvarez. He says size and strength don't guarantee victory if the opponent has elite defensive skills. Horn believes Crawford's defense is among the best in boxing. He knows how to anticipate punches, roll with shots, and avoid being hit clean. Because of that, Canelo's natural size advantage may not matter as much if he can't land solid punches. Horn says Crawford's defense could frustrate Canelo, reduce exchanges, and give Crawford the chance to counter effectively, finally. One veteran fighter who has studied Terence Crawford for years gives his verdict. He says Crawford's preparation, consistency, and mental toughness make him stand out from other fighters. For him, there's no doubt Crawford belongs among boxing's greats, and this fight with Canelo is simply another chance to prove it.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big dog.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm gonna live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought. Why did I think you was a DB?
I don't know.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.